GM, GM, Happy New Year. We are live. It's 2026. It's a new year. And it's, excited to be here and get things underway. I can't believe 2025 is at an end. We're probably 3 weeks from the big board. I think big board is conference championship week. They usually drop it, so maybe that's 4 weeks. But we are getting close to the cycle continuing. pretty light over on the Dog app. You've got playoff best ball, and then you're either a cash game king or cash game, in the cash game streets. I love that Pete got them to put that cash game contest. I think that's a ton of fun. Or you are doing the GPPs and the battle royales, which are absolutely crazy. I think it is a great week if you're trying to really grind your edges. If you really want to look into the coach speak, this is the time to do it, because different motivations. You have the obvious ones. You've got you've got the games that have direct playoff implications. Your Seahawks, Niners, your Panthers, Buccaneers, and then you've got other teams that you don't know. How much do they care? How long are the starters going to go? You've got eliminated teams who, sometimes they just go all out and everybody plays. Sometimes they're trying their backups. You've got the teams that can't really do much. So anyway, there's a ton you can try to figure out. A lot of work, but I think it could be a profitable venture if that's the way people want to go. But Chris, Happy New Year, 15th wedding anniversary. Huge congrats to you, Chris. That is awesome. Happy anniversary. That is very cool. And I know you famously are somewhat living your happily ever after, according, when you were on the Bash, one of the best Bash guests, very memorable guest. And it's awesome. Happy anniversary. That is so cool. Yeah, congrats, Chris. Let's go AZ Cards. Appreciate you. I expect today's attendance to be a little lighter because it's New Year's and people have things to do. You're off of work. You were out late last night, but we're here. And I don't think I'll be able to come on tomorrow just because of childcare stuff, but I will be back Monday to our regular schedule. But I guess the big announcement today, I'm gonna hop into a Mitten and you will see. Oh my God, location error. You won't see anything yet. But hey, Sadowski, I love your post in Slappy Discord. Appreciate you, Sadowski. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. I have to join a Mitten on my phone because I'm getting location error. But yeah, appreciate you so much. Yeah, if you want to find me on Discord, I'm usually in the Slappy Central Discord, which is of course the home of Davis Maddock. But that is where I hang out. It's an awesome community. He's built a great group there, so that's where I like to hang out. All right, let's see. Where is? Oh my God, jump scare. That's not good. I put my way too much Chad candles. Let's fix that. I put my phone on top of the go to sleep button. What have I done? I've lost my overlays. All right, there we go. We're getting better. Yeah, Happy New Year, Steven. Appreciate you. All right, let me try to join this Mitten. I'm having all kinds of problems here. All right. And it's snap filled. But the big reveal is we are in the sidekick. We are sidekicking. Yeah. Are you able to just so I am not, unfortunately. I also purchased it yesterday, so if I did start a business, that was probably stupid because it would be last tax year. So no, I left some deductions on the table there. It's a giant candle, and indeed it is. Indeed, that was too much. I apologize for the jump scare. But yeah, basically, I want to do more volume. I think this is going to help a ton with slow drafts. I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling. I know I've got to get the LLC up and running. I know, Chris, I messed up. I should have done it this year, but that's okay. Hopefully we win enough to where it's a drop in the bucket. But no, I really should get more organized with that. Hey, go AZ Cards. I'm thrilled Ohio State lost. I grew up a Miami Hurricanes fan, and so I'm still bitter. 23 years later. All right, so what's it saying to do? All right, it's updating. It wants James Cook over JSN, and honestly, I like that more. Over Allen. That's how I've been playing it lately, because Allen is a little bit disfavored. I think people are realizing how hard it is to build. Oh, yeah, let me turn off the sound. How hard it is to build with Allen. If you take Cook, you sometimes do get Allen to wrap. If you take Allen, Cook never wraps. So, anyway, yeah, back to this. One of my memories as a kid was the, it wants me to take Drake May. I don't want to take Drake May. I don't really love the May Cook stuff. So let's take Kyron. I don't want the sidekick to take things over. So I got a lot going on here, and I wanted to get through this. One of the greatest college teams, the 2003 Miami Hurricanes, were robbed of victory against Ohio State by a phantom pass interference call. And it led to kind of the downfall of the whole team, the whole program. So a little bit of comeuppance. Everyone said Ohio State was going to win. Canes, the U, they got there. So the Canes are my second college team. I went to Arizona State, but I still, that was my childhood team. So love the U. Glad to see them win. So Chris says, I've got one. They're easy as pie to set up one layer to another. Come on, bro. Yeah. Yep. Mike says that. Yeah, no, that is, it is too much. I don't need the noise when I'm on stream here. Chris, I used to bounce at a bar when I was in law school at Michigan. The OSU fans were awful, more fights and disruptions than any other weekend. I'm a not an Ohio State fan. All right, let's grab Stafford. I think that makes sense. Yes. Did you see the background I had? Did that pop up for a second? I wanted to make a bit about I was joining the Borg Collective now, having the sidekick, and I've just like Picard becoming Locutus, but I figured the younger generations would have no idea what I was talking about, so I scrapped it. So but yeah, I don't know if when my screen went down, it was a bit that I abandoned, but it may have popped up for a second. But yeah, I think if I'm going to get more volume, I think for like super flex, it is hugely helpful. We're going to want that. So we got Stafford, Cook, and Kyron. Boy, it is it wants me to take Diggs like a lot. Yeesh. All right, I guess I'll take Diggs. The thing about Diggs is he's been sliding in some rooms because of the criminal allegations against him. So you can sometimes get him later. One thing about the sidekick is it's like ADP agnostic. It doesn't really care. It also doesn't know what's going on in the room, and neither do I. Like the sidekick, I have no idea what's going on in here. Mike hates the sidekick. I think for me, I definitely want it for formats that I don't play a ton of. I think for like, again, some of the super flex stuff, I think for doing a lot of slow draft volume, it's going to be somewhat of a lifesaver. But for right now, I am very confused. I am very confused. Hey, morning, emo cowboy. We've capitulated. But I do for the sidekick, I want to do a little with it. I have some ideas for like, man versus machines. I want to keep track of which contests I use it and which I don't. I think some days on stream, I might just say this is like a sidekick free episode. I don't want it to take over what I do, but I also think we can learn a lot from it. I want to be a better drafter. So we're going to do our best with it. We got Stafford, Cook, Kyron, Diggs. Man, it's asking for RJ Harvey. I guess that makes sense. If we have Stafford and Kyron, we might even be able to get Sutton back to us at this point. So I'll take RJ Harvey there. Pull the board up. Mike, I took your Diggs. Oh, no. Yeah, you had May. Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Kittle there, too. I like that stuff. Hey, Gunnar Ross, GM audio listener. Hey, I appreciate you so much, Gunnar Ross. I don't know if you've been in here since the dust settled, but huge congrats on the second in the Elim. That was well deserved and very cool to see. So we might get Sutton here, which would be pretty awesome if we could go Stafford, Cook, Kyron, Harvey, and Sutton and Diggs. That would be a good start. We do get Sutton, so I think we just snag that well past ADP. I think people might be a little bit scared of the bye week stuff. Not sure. MBF says, I believe for season long, you can put your own rankings into the Sidekick. So we will be doing a lot of IKBing. It's not going to take over. But I thought you could make it transparent. I don't know. I'm still figuring it all out. I literally got it last night. This new toy here. And so I'm trying to figure out like the best place to put it, because when I switch back and forth, it covers up, which is not the best viewer experience. But congrats on the wins this season, says Emo Cowboy. Yeah, I mean, Gunnar Ross at the Dog Bowl, second in the Elim. I think, didn't you have something else? But yeah, Gunnar Ross, huge season, and I'm up on the clock. But I think this is a very clear Bo Nix click for me here. We got Stafford, Nix, Cook, Kyron, Harvey, and then Steph, Diggs, and Sutton. Pretty strong at running back. Wide receiver is a little bit limited. I'm wondering if this thing is going to start asking for advance rate stuff. And I think that might be what's creeping up with Burden and Reed starting to rise in this thing. It likes Colby Parkinson. I've been IKBing that a little bit towards taking Tyler Higbee, but I'm not super sold on that. I do think I want one more Ram by a lot. If we look at the Rams that are left, it's Parkinson, Ferguson, Higbee. I'll take Parkinson. This rotation, I think, is worthy of a little more study than I've given it. But being that nobody seems to be interested in these Denver pieces, I think I could push Franklin. Whereas I do have the Puka drafter, the Puka drafter, who I guess has completely abandoned the Rams stuff. But we'll see. Franklin could, I guess some could consider that an advance rate. That might be something where I should have taken Franklin and then taken whatever Rams piece came around. Hey, Jets drop bomb. GM to you. Moved on to baseball, but enjoy the content. Oh, I do love baseball. I wish I had the time to get more, to get deeper into the baseball streets, because it is one of my favorite sports, and it's too hard to do the dailies. It's just too much now, like having as many other outside sports responsibilities. But yeah, I don't know. I might try to do some baseball, best ball, because I don't think there's a huge amount of ramp up for it, and then you don't have to set lineup. So maybe I'll do a little of that. I don't know if I'll stream it, because I don't know if people would actually want to watch me stumble through baseball. Chris Watson, it's start 2 wide receiver or tight end. Not sure it wants you to slam QB and RB when you have one starting wild card. Hang on, Chris. Let me grab my Troy Franklin, and then I can get back to that. Yeah, I guess we do take Franklin. I'm a little worried having 4 players on bye here in the first round, but I think we can survive it. I assume that's why it's asking me to take Jaden Reed. I think I would IKB this over the Sidekick. Instead of Reed, I would take Booty here. to pair with Diggs. I think that would give me a little more outs if we do get to a Rams New England Super Bowl. I'm also sympathetic to Pearsall. I think Pearsall could potentially be a nice advance rate piece, but I also think Booty could too. So let me grab Booty. We will ignore the Sidekicks advice there. So this team ends up being Stafford, Nix, Cook, RJ Harvey, Steph Diggs, Cortland Sutton, Colby Parkinson, Troy Franklin, and Kayshawn Booty. I'll pull the board up. People can see the end. I'll go over Mike Robb's team. You were in the room. Again, apologies for taking Diggs there. Hey, Night Fiend, GM. Good morning. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming in, hanging out today. Also, by the way, if you can, drop a like, drop a sub. We're trying to get to 400 subs. We're getting close. We're just 16 away. You can get plenty of wide receivers late. Running backs dry up. Yes. Yeah, the running backs look at the late running back. Sharbs to me is a really nice pick at pick 46. Ramondre at 35. I think those two are the late running backs I like. Woody Marks, it's like, I like the concept of Woody Marks, that you have the Texans running back. He just, A, stinks, and B, I think there's a little fragility in that job. He's been hurt. He's not any good. Nick Chubb's still lurking. I don't know. I could see some of that volume getting split even further. I'll still take him in Houston stuff, but like, I don't love it. He's now cheap enough to where I guess that's fine in the 9th round, compared to like Monungai or Ty Johnson. But man, I'm kind of bearish on Marks. This has come down quite a bit. He was more expensive. Hey, Hartman, GM. Hope you're having a great morning. Yeah, I think I agree with that. And also about the tight ends on DraftKings, that's definitely more important. On Underdog, you don't have to start a tight end. So I do at least say that, like, I think that's a huge difference where the tight ends are way more valuable over on DK than here. All right, let's go over Mike's team. All right, Drake May, Jordan Love, CMC Jacobs, Ramondre, Kittle, Jennings, Christian Watson, BTJ, and Jaden Higgins. Yeah, I like the team. I'm looking at the Higgins pick. I guess that was in lieu of Pearsall, or did Pearsall go ahead of you there? Pearsall went right ahead before you took Jordan Love, but I assume you would have taken Love over Pearsall there. Yeah, nice team there. Nice team there. Ball is life. Good morning. Going to hammer whichever running back Houston drafts in round 5 to 6 this year. That got me in trouble last year with, I think, Jawar Jordan. I think I thought that guy had a chance, and then he was like banished to the practice squad. But yeah, I mean, that running back room seems wide open. No idea what the story is on Mixon. No idea. And Mitten too. All right, we're gonna hop into another one. It's probably gonna give me a location error, so I'm gonna join on my phone. I'm joining now. Waiting for 3. If anyone wants to get in, hop on in. 1845. Mitten 2. This is confusing. I'm just gonna call it Mitten. You all know that the Mitten filled, so we'll just call it the Mitten. All right. Timestamps updated. Hartman says, do you take any shots on teams that are playing for the division week 18? I'm not doing a ton. And that's more just about the teams that are there than like being afraid of losing them. I don't like the Ravens this year. I feel like there's something wrong. Lamar doesn't seem himself. He hasn't seemed himself all season. The vibes are in shambles. The Steelers stuff, like, I just don't know how much like Gainwell and Warren and Metcalf are gonna rise even when they get in. And then I don't know. I could definitely see that team winning a game. They're just so annoying. I could see them winning one playoff game, but I don't feel like they're going to make a deep run. So it's like, for me, it's hard to even call them advanced pieces. And then it just feels like the Bucks or the Panthers. How far are they really going? Like, is there a world where Tet McMillan is last year's lad? Yes. Yes, I could see taking a one-off Tet if I have one of those teams where my RBs are sick. I'm stacking like I'm just gonna take CMC. I'm stacking like the Bills, and their wide receivers stink. Like, if you're doing Bill stacks, your wide receivers are bad because it's, Kincaid and Shakir, and you're not excited. So I could see taking like a Tet there, hoping that he has that. Like, I guess you wouldn't be hoping for one and done. You'd hope they'd make a run, but you could see that kind of like single week eruption where he drags a team through. So I could see that there on the Carolina side. It's just hard to get too excited about going heavy on that. If I'm 150 maxing, yeah, I'd probably want a couple teams, or maybe more than a couple, just, because they're going to have some Super Bowl equity, however small that is. And they're probably going to be underdrafted compared to that, would be my assumption. But I just think right now, I just don't see them rising enough to need to do it. Like, I could just do it when we know who's in a few days. Although this contest could fill, so who knows? Like, the fill rates have been increasing quite a bit. So we got CMC. I normally would CMC take somebody on the AFC side and then take George Kittle. That's how I tend to build these. The issue now is all summer, or not summer, since these have been opened, I have been taking the Niners with the idea that they're not going to get the bye, and they're now playing for the bye. Let's see, what is it recommend? So normally I would go Etienne and then Kittle, and then I would let this guy decide what he wants to do. I also could theoretically take Travion, and then, we're going to take Travion, and then we're going to decide, do we want Kittle or May, depending on what this guy does, the Puka drafter. The Puka drafter, I would imagine, if they're rational, are unlikely to take Kittle, but we'll see. So they take Etienne. And now, assuming they don't take May or Kittle, I have to decide which one I want to do. So let's see. I wouldn't mind May. I think I'd go May here over Kittle. Because if I miss Kittle, I probably still can get Jennings and then just get the other Niner pieces minus Kittle and just play it through the other ones. It's nice to have the kind of McCaffrey, Kittle, Jennings, Pearsall, all four, but it's certainly not a requirement. All right, I pulled the board up. People can see what's going on. This S11G player has Stafford and Allen, so that makes me even more glad we took May here, because this person's just smashing buttons. Quarterback might get a little thin, so that's that. Yeah, but going Allen Stafford just can't be good. I don't need a robot to tell me that. That makes sense. We're division winners, probably one and done with strong 5 wild cards. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if the Steelers win, I'm kind of interested in them. I feel like they could be a real problem for whoever they run into. It just ends up being like kind of disgusting. All right, so what did this guy do? I'm deciding, do I want to? I'm just gonna grab Diggs. I think Diggs makes more. I'll be worse off if I don't get Diggs versus if I don't get Jennings. I think Jennings is the clear next pick after this. Remember, the Sidekick does not care about ADP, so you would not click Booty here. It just thinks that Booty and Hunter Henry are super important because it wants me to correlate the heck out of this team. But the other thing the Sidekick doesn't do or account for is like the fact that in playoff best ball, people are unlikely to just take random one-offs, or at least less likely than they are. So you do have to like kind of take a little bit of like room knowledge into it. I don't think it's correct to just like blindly click the top of everything. And nor is that the point of it. Like if you listen to Karain, he talks about the need to know your room when you're using this thing. So we got CMC, Henderson, May, Diggs, and Jennings. I couldn't really ask for a much better start, to be honest with you. I'm pretty happy with this. Might see if we can add Pearsall and then have 3 Niners. That would be a nice balance, because they're live to not play week 1, but that would be like, to me, kind of the heart of the team minus the Kittle stuff. Yeah, Night Notes, Tomlin powers are at the strongest when no one believes. Absolutely. He just has that, like, it's just like a team you just don't want to run into in the playoffs. All right, seeing as, did anyone do anything too weird? The 5-hole doesn't even have a quarterback yet. It looks like they're probably lining up to be the Stroud drafter there. This Fossil person, Derrick Henry at 28. So the Baltimore stuff will definitely get more expensive. If you want to take Baltimore, I think you gotta start moving on that. Because I know Lamar will become very expensive. And you probably should. I mean, you probably should become more expensive. So Kincaid goes, just knowing how these rooms are, I really like Ramondre. I think I'm going to take Ramondre here. I think there's a decent chance he doesn't come back. A little surprised that the machine doesn't want me to take Purdy. I would have thought Purdy would sim a lot higher than he is. And right now, wide receiver for me is pretty grim. It's pretty grim. Just Diggs and Jennings feels a hair light. Just adding Hunter Henry or Booty. I do wonder if I should just take Purdy, because I might get Henry back. If I don't get Henry, I feel like I'm okay with that. So I'm going to grab Purdy here. I do like having the 2 quarterback stuff. The ADP value on Henry might just sway someone to grab him, just because people do get really tempted. But he could come back to me. I do like Burden as the advance rate guy. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, it has Pearsall kind of low. I'm just kind of curious as to who it's saying. Very interesting stuff. So there goes Lamar Jackson at pick 40 to the Henry drafter. Stroud does go to the guy who did not have a quarterback yet. But being that 2 quarterback is pretty standard, I did feel like pushing Purdy was risky. And I do kind of want him in a potential final. So right now we've got all right. Yeah, if we could take Henry here, that would be pretty good. All right, so we were able to push Henry, which is kind of awesome. Let's just grab that. So we got May, Purdy, McCaffrey, Travion, Ramondre, Diggs, Jennings, Henry. So we have our infinity gauntlet of Patriots. Doesn't matter who they play. We now have a live Super Bowl there. I almost feel like I would take Luther Burden over Booty in this circumstance. I think Burden could potentially be that nice advance rate piece. Having 6 Pats is nice because so we do lose out on Burden. That's unfortunate. So I think that makes Booty for me the clear pick. Pearsall makes a lot of sense too. But let me just grab Booty. And now we've got 6 Patriots here, and we'll see what our last pick, how we want to land the proverbial plane. So now, no matter who the Patriots play, if they're in the Super Bowl, we have 6 players from that potential game. Ideally, it is against San Francisco. I'm shocked that Charbonnet is still available. Where's the Ken Walker or the Njigba drafter? They're over here. This person, Rambo, No, they take Pearsall. Some people just won't take 2 running backs on the same team, so this person might not actually take Sharbs there. Yeah, as far as like advanced ratey kind of players, it's now pretty dire, I would say, especially in wide receiver. Wide receiver does, if you wait too long, dry up pretty heavily. My other question is Corum. Did something come out on Corum's injury? This is like, what am I missing on Blake Corum? That is so late. I don't know if I don't know what happened there. That seems pretty late. I do think Charbonnet is just better for advance rate. I'm surprised that they have Corum nuked so low. But we're gonna take Charbonnet. I don't see Corum being a great advance rate person, and it does feel like yeah, we'll grab Sharps there. We'll just grab Sharps there. So our team ends up being Drake May, Brock Purdy, CMC, Travion, Ramondre, Charbonnet, and then Steph Diggs, Juwan Jennings, Hunter Henry, Kayshon Boutte. So really going to need the running backs to carry us. Wide receivers feel pretty thin. No worries, MBF. I think I would feel a lot better if I did have Burden on this team, just with how thin my receiver room is. But if the Patriots are scoring a million points, could be kind of fun. Could be kind of fun. And I guess one thing, if we want to think it through, Seattle, only one of Seattle or the Niners is going to get a bye. So if the Niners do get a bye, Charbonnet is active, and we're going to need all the points we can get to kind of survive the first round. So not too bad. Let's see what MBF, what does your team look like? Single quarterback, 136, T-Law, Etienne, Harvey, and Tootin. Again, I am very sympathetic to 2 running backs, same team like that. Puka, Myers, Parker Washington, BTJ, Strange, and Burden. So you have even more Jags. You have 7 Jags. 7 Jags plus Harvey, Puka, and Burden. Yeah. Yep. That's kind of nice. Kind of nice. Sweet. All right. I'm going to update the timestamp. 32. All right. I'll hop in another one. I got to join on the phone again. And it's waiting for 5. So hopefully there's not an underflow. All right. Oh. This is not what I wanted to click. All right. And one more thing. Switch it up. Switch it up, feeding the Ducks. MBF, don't love 1 QB, but didn't think unstacked love made any sense. I wouldn't either. But I don't know. I don't think unstacked love does anything for you. If I was going to take an unstacked QB, I'd rather it be like unstacked Lamar, who, you could be like an advance rate king, versus like Love, who is very unlikely to get there without it being other Packers getting there too. All right. So we got Crander 47. Big friend of the show here, Crander 47. Appreciate you drafting here. Best of luck. We'll see what we do from the 3 hole. Probably end up being a JSN team. I really kind of prefer my Allen teams from the 4, 5, 6 kind of zone versus taking him at 3. And he's been sliding. He has definitely been sliding. And I think it's a combination of the Bills looking terrible against the Eagles, which I would caution people to not read into too much. Again, I have some serious questions about the motivation level of Buffalo in that game. They really weren't playing for a whole heck of a lot. I don't know, kind of a weird game. The Eagles can drag anyone into the mud. So I would be not drafting Allen because the Allen teams like look kind of, or he's very tough to build from. And so I don't know what, the primary driver of the Allen slide is, but for me, it's more just he's kind of a pain in the ass to build with. All right, let's take CMC. We'll take CMC. Saquon at the 2. Hey, Crutches, good morning. Happy New Year to you. Hope you're having a great one. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. We have capitulated. We've capitulated to the Sidekick for some of these side contests. Just kind of want to see what it's telling me to do. And I think the one thing I've learned is I was very hesitant to put two players from the same conference not in the same team in my first like couple rounds. And the Sidekick is like kind of like, don't care, that doesn't matter. Like you can take a Bill and then a Patriot. And I was like never ever doing that. The huge update is that I got the Sidekick. It's not that exciting. This is you know what, for this channel, Hartman, this is huge. It's a little bit of clickbait. All right, let's see. What do we want to do? So we did a let's grab Etienne here. So last time we had CMC, we were able to do May and Travion. This one, it looks like we might be doing some Jags stuff here. So like I'm shocked it's recommending Nico currently. Like I would just never take Nico over Kittle. So that's kind of like something, like one of the things I did want to do the Sidekick is so I start thinking differently. Because it's like I would always choose to stack at this point versus that. And I don't know, I'd be really interested to know, does it not want me to take Kittle because my advancement equity might be in big trouble if 2 of my 3 picks aren't playing in week 1? Does Nico just like project like a god? I don't know. I'll you know what? I'll listen to the machine. I'm very curious. So let's do it. Let's see what we'll put ourselves in Shady's hands. Crutcher says, yeah, it's nice to mix in. Does stuff make some stuff a bit more non-intuitive that our brains don't register as easily? Yes, like literally that. I'm glad to have some different textures because I think I had a tendency to kind of build the same style team, if you will, each time. So it's at least getting me out of my comfort zone. Sad to see the season finally made you submit to the. We are not fully capitulating, Hartman. We're definitely going to do some streams where we don't have it. I think I want to have some contests where I mark which ones I use it and which ones I don't, and see how we do. I think that'd be kind of fun. So, we got some stuff in the works here. Like it's really asking me to take Steph Diggs. I don't want to take Steph Diggs. Now it's Josh Jacobs. I would make fun of somebody for taking 4. I'm not. See, like, why am I not taking Jacoby Myers? Help me understand, machine. Why do you want Josh Jacobs so bad? You know what? No, we're not. We're taking Jacoby Myers. You can't make me do it, machine. You can't make me do it. Don't worry. We're going to fight back against the machines. Yeah, we're going to slap harder. We're going to slap harder, Ball is life. We're going to get this machine and not listen to it. Knight says, Texans have a decent chance to make the AFC, and I bet Nico's the guy. Yeah. Yep. I don't really have a response. 100%. 100%. He definitely, we've seen some eruption games from him. I'm glad this channel's moving past its robo. Yeah. We're like that guy in Star Wars who doesn't let R2D2 and C3PO come in the bar in Mos Eisley's. Look, we're like, no, get out of here. Get out of here, robots. Crutcher says, I recommend doing this initially and letting it take the wheel, but also know you can bully the kick early and trust it. Yeah, I think that makes I think that's right. And I think that's what Corain basically has said about it. Like, you kind of guide it, and then it, like, exactly like you said, and then land the plane. Hey, GM Chief Matt. Hope you're having a great New Year's Day morning. Let me try to pull the board up for you guys so you can see what's going on, and I can catch up on what's happening. So we got CMC, Etienne, Nico, Jacoby Myers, and T-Law. Crutches says 4 teams, in theory, good still, but I agree you could bully it. Yeah, see, it's something I just thought was bad, but I guess the Sims are saying it's not. I'm just not quite there yet. Chris says rage against the machines and rage against the light. We will not go quietly into that good. I guess you're saying to, well, this would be an advertisement for going quietly into the good night. But we will fight it. We will fight it. All right. So there goes Jennings. So this guy's got Jennings, Kittle. So a lot of the good Niner stuff has gone away. It wants me to take BTJ here, which probably makes sense with the Jag stuff. But I also feel like I'm going to take Swift here. I'm going to take Swift because I think I can push BTJ around. And I could be wrong. If we don't end up with BTJ, there's also the parts that go later, like Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. So I could build out just a slightly different Jag stack. Again, the sidekick doesn't really care about ADP, and it doesn't really care about what your room's likely to do. So sometimes I think you do need to IKB stuff a little. Yeah, so we'll grab BTJ here. I think Swift is a nice potential advancement piece here too. Crutcher says, I will say in that spot, I kind of let it do its own thing just to see how it works and how it lands the plane. Yeah. Yep. And it probably was a Green Bay overstack. And that was kind of the online, the memes yesterday about it was that it was just like stacking Packers. Hartman, Jaguars have a really small chance at the 1 seed. 49ers a good chance, so maybe it wanted you to cover with Jacobs. Yeah, I think it just loves, I think that the Packers are underpriced is my understanding. I don't think it's at TBH Hartman. I'm just higher on Jags in Houston than most people, so I also IKB. Sadowski, in a Bills Mafia contest for the playoffs, would you fade the Bills as 1/4 of the teams? I may be the only. Yes. You have to know your contest. Because the other thing is if you pick the Bills, then you're just like against all the other like Bills teams. So I would definitely do that. All right, it really wants me to take Parker Washington. I think this is another IKB plays. Luther Burden's been getting steamy. He's been getting steamy, and if we have Swift, I think we can still grab Washington and or Burden. So I'll take, Washington and or Strange. So let's grab that now. But I do agree. Parker Washington and Brenton Strange do make a ton of sense, but I think they'll still be there. Yeah, it probably would do exactly that. Because once you take Jacobs, you pretty much have free reign over the Packers. Did you? Yeah, I mean, some people. There are levels to this, Chris. There are levels to this, and I do not get nearly that kind of volume down. I will say that. I will definitely say that. All right, so Parker Washington goes. That's a little bit of a bummer. Especially because it wanted us to take it, but I don't think we would have gotten Burden. Let's just grab Brenton Strange here. I think that makes the most sense. Also, like, not getting Parker Washington is probably fine. See, it wants us to take Byshell Tootin. See, we could have forgotten about that. I think Byshell Tootin does make a lot of sense. We just do a Jacksonville skinny. Very interesting. It has Sam Darnold here as its second recommendation. A little surprised to see that. Charbonnet is probably who I would take if I wasn't using this thing. I think Charbonnet is very live to score points when you need them. But I think Tootin makes a lot of sense. That seems super reasonable. I got down like 35. Yeah. Similar story here, Crutches. Chris, I only played 6K and returned 8. I mean, a profitable best ball season is absolutely huge. Yeah, Crutches, I had a bad year. I had a bad year at best ball. I made up for it in the dailies. So it was a net good year, but if I never heard of best ball, it would have been a very good year. Burden might be my 2026 rise. Players don't rise enough. Yeah, that is entirely possible for me as well. Ball is life. He's I think he's pretty clearly going to be the wide receiver one. Although, I mean, there's going to be Romo Dunze dead enders. There's absolutely going to be Romo Dunze dead enders there, and they're going to fight tooth and nail. Saying that if he didn't have that foot injury, this ends very differently. I don't know. I felt like he kind of had his time myself. Chris says, if one of my 4 second place BBMs in the semis had made the finals, I would have returned about... Oh, no. Yeah, Chris had a terrible run out. He had 4 second places in the semis in BBM. I didn't even know such things were possible. Let me see. Let's see what Crander did. Crander, I don't know if you're in here, but you took Drake May, Jordan Love, Travion Ramondre, Josh Jacobs, JSN, Diggs, Watson, Booty, and Reed. So you did build that Green Bay stack. This is another future that we could look into. I'm going to join another. I got to do it on my phone because I'm getting location errors. So I'm joining now. And I'm waiting for 3. If anyone wants to get into Mitten. We are waiting for 3. Waiting for 1. Would have been nice since I'm closing on a house in February, but if I can get these 3 Survivor teams through on Jags, I'll get an A. Crutches. Okay, congrats on the house. First of all, that's awesome. Yeah, I know you are a Survivor expert. I felt like I would have had a good Survivor year if I had played a little more. Like I only played like 7 or 8 teams. I felt like I had a good handle on this year. I know that sounds dumb, but I really feel like I could. I'm sure everyone thinks this, but I think I could have had a pretty good Survivor year. I do a contest with my friends where you pick every single game against the spread, and I don't know. I feel like I could have had a good run. Chris says, I want to ask PD if anybody ever has 4 second place finishes in the semis. And yeah, I would be surprised if anyone did. It's hard enough to get 4 teams in the semis at all, let alone getting 4 to finish second. And T, hey, appreciate you. Happy New Year, A&T 99. Hope you're having a great one. I see you here in the 3-hole. So we got yourself in the 3-hole. We got Crutches at the 5-hole. Sorry again. Myself at the 4. All right. Crutcher says next year I'm going to do less of the high stakes baseball and for sure 1 max circa plus some other stuff on Splash. Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm on the clock. What do we want to do? So Cook already went. I'll do a Seattle situation here, or at least start with JSN. Yeah, the circa stuff is really cool. I would love to get into that. Obviously, not living in Vegas, there are proxy services. That discussion is really interesting. Having somebody who has to physically go and do that for you. You can pay. There's people that do that for a fee. It's kind of cool. Obviously, you have to put a lot of trust in that person. But there are people that have been doing this for decades now that are reputable. That would be pretty cool. I would love to be able to do the circa one day. Probably won't be next year, but it is like kind of one of my DGen life goals. I'll probably do the flag stuff again and then use the SK to max a bunch of small stuff for more volume. Yeah, I was chasing the 555 on DK quite a bit. You know what? I'm gonna take Travion over May. I don't really want May without Travion that bad. I can still pivot to Darnold if I have to. Yeah, so I was chasing the 555 on DK, so I was doing a lot of saddies. So I spent, you know, I was had a good year in like golf and whatnot, so I was able to saddy in a bunch. And then I did not end up doing super well on the 555s. I would have been better off just like entering normal tournaments and winning. All right, we'll just grab Drake May. I think that makes sense. So we got Drake May, Travion, and JSN to start. So the plan to take Travion and push May worked. If I had taken May, there's almost no chance Travion would have come back to me, just knowing how these things go. Crutches, before this year, I didn't realize Circa's rake free. So with the 12% proxy, it feels like, yeah, I actually did not know Circa was rake free. That is really cool. Crutches, doing any bullpens? Not a baseball guy. I did make the finals one year. Yeah, last year I literally did 2 because Davis had someone on and gave like 2 sleepers, and I just took them at I wish I even remembered who it was, and took them at the end of the draft, and they were actually really good picks, and both my teams advanced. And then I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really plan for like how many like starts you get during the playoff. There's a lot of nuance to baseball, best ball, and I knew absolutely none of it. But I did get 2 teams, my 2 dinger teams. So we got Travion, May, and JSN. Let's see what Crutches does here. He takes Devonta Smith. So I'm going to IKB the dig stuff, and I'm going to take Ken Walker. I do think there's enough digs FUD to where he could fall. If he doesn't fall, it's not the end of the world. But I do like having Walker and Travion here. 47% Lane Thomas in his breakout year. Yeah, I think if I did baseball, I would probably do some kind of like crazy big stand. Kind of like how I did with Scatabo this year, and just hope it pans out. Get a bunch of teams through. AZ Mountain Man, Happy New Year. Good luck to everyone. And hey, AZ Mountain Man, appreciate you. Happy New Year. I hope you're having a great one. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Jets, drop bombs. Yep. Yeah, Chad, wish I'd looked at proxies this last year. I also thought it was sketch, but there's several well-oiled machines. They literally have apps. Yeah. Rob Pizzola on Forward Progress was talking about this. I think he was on with Mayo. I can't remember if it was just one of his Forward Progress things or with Mayo, and they were talking about it, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I know he has someone he uses, and they were talking about that. All right, yeah, we'll just take digs. We'll just grab digs here. So we got JSN, Travion, May, Walker, and Diggs. Now the sidekick is like, please take a running back, which is interesting because I already have 2. All right, let's see. Do we see anything too out of the ordinary? And T, this is kind of a nice start. Cook, Brown, Ertz, and then you get Kincaid later. That's kind of nice. Nice way to build a Hurts team opposite Cook. Crutches with Allen, Kyron, Shakir, Devonta, and Jacobs. So looks like we got a side. No, not necessarily just a sidekick user. Jacobs does make sense opposite Allen here. So that makes sense there. I'm trying to just read some tea leaves on what I need to worry about. And I think I do like the Ramondre clip quite a bit. So let's grab that. Ton of touchdown equity now between Travion, Ramondre here, and it can let us finish up our New England stuff. Survivor sweat people are awesome. I even bought some small 1 to 2% shares on their marketplace. Oh, cool. Yeah, I used to look more into that in like the old poker days. But yeah, that's cool that you can like buy equity in some of those contests. Wanted Devonta or Goddard. Did they not make it to you? I'm like going blind here. Yeah, I guess Goddard going. I mean, you can't be too mad at the Saquon drafter, and then like Devonta opposite Buffalo. But yeah, would have been nice. You would have had a pretty good run out there if you'd gotten like one more of those primary Eagle pieces. All right, we're up. It really wants me to take Hunter Henry. The ADP is saying take Hunter Henry. I think to not take Hunter Henry just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back in business. Chief says, nice start, but I'm also not interested in watching a Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl. This is my hedge. I either get to watch an entertaining Super Bowl or I win money. But no, yeah, this it depends on your feeling on the Seahawks. I actually feel like the Seahawks are kind of exciting, so I would not mind that. I actually think that Super Bowl would be cool. I just don't like the Patriots, so I'd rather them not be in the Super Bowl. But you know, I think I have enough. I think my playoff best ball bags are now outweighing any rooting interests I have in the laundry side of the coin. All right, let's see. I think I'm just going to keep doing this Luther Burden advance rate piece bit. I think I like that. I can push Booty. I don't think I need to grab him right here. If I do, what are you going to do? But I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already have 5 Patriots. You know, taking the 6th is nice. I think it does give you an edge if the Pats make the Super Bowl. You've got so many more angles covered than the other teams that are capping out at 5. But I do think Booty might make it back, but Burden will not. It's just how I feel about it. Hey, Artillery Frost, GM, and Happy New Year to you, Artillery Frost. Hope you're having a great one. Appreciate you so much for coming in. I gotta wrap soon. I think I have time for one more playoff best ball, and then I will hop on out of here. But good morning, everyone. Also, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. We got a lot more best ball to come. I'm so excited for this year. We're gonna do some cool stuff. I'll try to do some cool stuff with the sidekick. Haven't exactly decided how I want to do it, but I do want to do some things with it a little different. Made some nice progress this week too. Was through 120 on DK, but got down to 50 gauntlets on. Oh, nice. I guess and this might be bad. I just feel like I really feel like I'm a little bit of the winning team's been drafted, bro. Like I definitely have fear of that on in the gauntlet with how cheap Jags stuff was early. If the Jags make a run, with how cheap Houston was early. I don't know. I didn't want to do the gauntlet just because it is so expensive. But that's kind of where I'm at. I do agree, and I was on DK early. Yeah, exactly. If you were jamming those, you've got to be feeling good. Because even if they're not it, now you're able to cover like different bases. So I that's why I'm like very happy they opened a Mitten too, because I don't have to worry about those teams. Like everyone's getting Etienne where they're getting him and Nico where they're getting him. Versus like if I join a gauntlet, I have to worry. You know, there's just teams you just cannot get now. That if that's the run out, you're probably cooked. But yeah, just the $25, only one advances. It would have been like a significant investment in a format I didn't feel good in. If I had the sidekick, then I could do that. I bet, you know, maybe I would have gotten more invested. But I feel like one of the reasons I did go for the sidekick is because I think it's going to help teach me some, you know, things, help with those 50-50 decisions and making more plus EV teams. I don't care as much reaching as much on Underdog. Probably sharp to do stuff like the Ravens now. Yeah, I agree that with the Ravens. I think they're the one team who will rise a ton if they get in. I don't think I have to worry about the Steelers or the NFC South team that much. Yeah, I think Darnold just makes the most sense, because then we'll have Darnold, Walker, JSN. Let's just grab him. Sweet. All right, so this team, Drake May, Sam Darnold, Travion Henderson, Ken Walker, Ramondre, JSN, Diggs, Henry, Burden, Booty. Yeah, I like this team. I think this team came out pretty good. All right, let's see. I'm going to hop in another, and then I'll review this team, and then I'm going to get on out of here. All right. One more to start. Waiting for one in a Mitten 2. Yeah, Rico Dowdle going. All right. Let's see. Ann T, what did you do? You went Hurts, Lamar. Yeah, Lamar at 51. Like, that's going to get way more expensive. James Cook, RJ Harvey, Derrick Henry at pick 34. AJ Brown, Kincaid, Flowers, Knox, and Andrews. Yeah. So just leaning fully into the Baltimore stuff, like the team you made, Ann T. Again, that might be impossible to build in 3-4 days. All right, Crutches, what'd you do? Single QB, 1-3-6. Allen, Kyron, Jacobs, and Johnson. Ty Johnson. I like Ty Johnson with Josh Allen. I think he's my preferred late running back for Buffalo there. Shakir, Devonta, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Colby Parkinson, and Brandon Cooks, who's also my favored wide receiver late with Buffalo. So, yeah, like the team there as far as the Bills stuff goes. All right, let's hop into this. We have the 2-hole. Looks like we got Crutches in here. John Frandino, who I know is a friend of the channel, comes in, and I'll just take CMC. So I don't know if you're in the room, but if you are, good morning. Happy New Year. And we'll pull the board up. Henry already going 30s, but Zay still free. And, of course, Bateman tight end pieces. But Zay could be at least advanced rate piece and a loss. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I could see that particularly with Zay. If they're forced to throw, he definitely could get there. It's like I want to take more Ravens, but like in my heart of hearts, I think they're going to lose. But I probably shouldn't draft that way if I'm going to get a lot down in this contest. I probably should be taking more of them. Chris says, thanks for the stream, Cat. Hey, Chris, thanks for hanging out. Happy New Year, man. Really appreciate you. Appreciate all the support. Hope you're having a great one. Let's see what we can do with the CMC team. We've already done 2, I believe. We did a CMC Drake May Travion team, and we did a CMC Etienne Nico Collins team. So hopefully we get something a little different for the people. Crutches says the Panthers or Buck stuff is wild to me. It's clearly a hammer top 5 AFC teams evenly in the top 6 NFC ones with a Rams Seattle preference. Yeah, the Panthers Buck stuff is really weird. And it's crazy that the Bucks don't even. I'm going to take Etienne here. So I got CMC Etienne. The Bucks don't even control their own destiny, which is wild. If the Falcons win, the Bucks are out no matter what. And I was kind of treating the Bucks as pretty much a lock to get in. This time it wants Kittle over Nico. Very interesting, and that's how I've been doing it. And I'm fine building that way. I like this start. CMC Etienne Kittle. I know I have quite a few teams like this myself. Was grinding drafts in a room, randomly got in. There you go. It was fate. It was fate, John. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great one. One more. We got one more. Yeah, and then I really do got to hop. But Allen at 5. You know what's funny is we've seen. So Allen Cook was very hard to get in the Mitten by the end, and now I've gotten Allen Cook teams, and I've seen people pass Allen and Cook. Someone at the 6 hole went Allen and then like Devonta, and I was like, you can get that. You can get Allen Devonta a lot. Allen Cook is still hard, but now it's happening. So that's kind of interesting to me. I really do like the Allen Cook start. As much as people are down on Buffalo. For the mock draft, it was really Mendoza to Miami, or is that a personal addition? No, I did not change that. Now, I have not looked if PFF has a new mock draft, but they did have the Dolphins trading up to get it. Do I think that's going to happen in real life? No. Is that why I included that in the ticker? No, I just kind of want to start getting my feet wet, start putting some names out there. And also, like, I can't have the advance rate on the ticker anymore. When the big board opens up, that will switch to being the exposures tab. I guess I could do playoff best ball exposures. Maybe we can look into that. All right, we're coming up. We are coming up. Interesting. It really wants me to grab the quarterback. Wow, Swift. That feels so high for Swift there. I'm just shocked to see Swift that high when my inclination would be to just take Jennings and Purdy. All right, you know what? I'm going to take Swift. I'm curious what it wants me to do. I will take Purdy next. I'm just counting on Tanner Bound not to take Purdy because I don't think that would make any sense. So we'll do that. Now what does it want me to do? All right, we'll grab Brock Purdy here. Very interesting. I'm just very curious as to what it wants me to do. So we're gonna trust it early, and then we're gonna see how the plane comes down. So we got CMC, Etienne, Kittle, Swift, and Purdy. We see Derrick Henry goes even earlier, full round earlier than last time. Derrick Henry at 27. Here, Crutches has a nice Drake May, Diggs, Ramondre start on the New England side, opposite JSN and with Nico. Fantasy Dog, morning, Chad. Happy New Year, my man. Hey, Fantasy Dog, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great one. Appreciate you so much for coming in, hanging out today. I'm glad to do these. Hopefully get a little bit of playoff best ball volume down. Next time we do these drafts, though, we will, the field will be set, and we can do some playoff BRs because the divisional and wildcard rounds are good. Last year I won the divisional round BR, so we will be defending the title there and trying not to mention that every single time we draft in an annoying fashion. But we gotta play up the victories when they do happen. Are we worried about the Corum injury or Burden? Any news? Let me make my pick here, which I think has to be Juwan Jennings, even no matter what the machine says. That's who we're gonna take. Corum went undrafted in one of the drafts I did. People are worried. But then he went here, like in the top 30. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything. The Burden injury doesn't sound like anything too significant. So I don't think people are overly concerned about the Burden stuff. So let's see, what does it want? And now it wants me to take Ricky Pearsall. Pearsall, Hampton, Caleb. Interesting. I mean, I'm fine just taking Pearsall and finishing this Purdy, CMC, Kittle, Jennings, Pearsall. Now I have the 5. Getting the 5 Niners is nice because now they can play anybody, and we're off to the races there. I was a little surprised it wasn't higher on BTJ with Etienne, but we will trust the machines. We'll trust the machines on this one. But yeah, I do really like the 5-person Niner stuff. Crutches is clicking on the Corum. Yeah, I have not been scared off by the injury with him either. I definitely take him more in Ram stuff than as like a one-off, but I do click him. Yeah, he went for a year in top 30. Yeah, where did he go here? Yeah, he went 29. Oh, to you. Okay, there you go. Sharbs over Corum to me. That was my decision at the end of the draft, was Charbonnet or Corum, and I took Charbonnet as the one-off instead of Corum. And again, and part of that was because it was a Niners team, so it was a little bit of a mini hedge on the buy stuff. But Seattle's kind of weird. I could see a world where the only person in Seattle like you need in a given week is Charbonnet, whereas with the Rams, it's a little harder for me to envision that the only one you really need is Corum. But I don't know, that could just be slightly vibesy. Wow, it really wants me to take a quarterback. Let's just grab Burden. I think that makes the most sense. We did miss on Caleb, which is unfortunate. But we do have DeAndre Swift. I think at this point we're all in on... We're kind of all in on the Niners. So let's just grab Burden as another advancement piece. I mean, only having Niner receivers doesn't seem super duper great. It's still recommending an unstacked quarterback. Yikes. I think I'd rather take Parker Washington over any of that mess. So let's grab Parker Washington here. And then I could take an unstacked quarterback. I don't want this team to be totally dead if the Niners have the bye, but maybe I just have to live in a world where we're totally dead if the Niners have the bye. I don't know. Interesting question there. I think Caleb would have been nice on this team, but it did not pan out. And then if I'm going to take an unstacked quarterback, man, it's grim. Love, Herbert, Darnold, Stroud. Well, we'll see. And then the highest non-QB would be Reed, Strange, Dobbs. I mean, we could do Strange and just really build out a massive Jacksonville stack. It's just hard to imagine Brenton Strange as an advanced rate piece. I do like him, but I just don't know if that's like really worthwhile. But I guess if as part of a Jags thing, it is. But I guess our only Jags pieces are Etienne and Parker Washington. So this pretty much is just go Niners. I guess maybe I will just trust the machine and take one of these quarterbacks. All right, I have to imagine... No, Crutches doesn't actually have any Packers. I was assuming I was going to see Packers on there. Fazal has Watson. The Packers look like they got kind of scattered. The Jacobs drafter doesn't have any more Packers. Christian Watson's over here. Should we maybe have gone Reed and then Love? Maybe over Parker Washington? I don't know. Interesting question. I think I'm just going to trust the plain lander and queue up Jordan Love, but we'll see. It also might be telling Crutches to do that too, because he only has one quarterback. But his quarterback doesn't have any bye risk, so also be curious to see what it says. Oh, Darnold. Okay, so it did have him take a quarterback. But he has JSN and Sharps and Shaheed, so Darnold actually makes sense. All right, sweet. All right, so this team, we will take Jordan Love. So we got Purdy and Love, CMC, Etienne, Swift, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Luther Burden, Parker Washington. We'll look at what Crutches did real quick. Drake May, Sam Darnold, Ramondre, Sharbs, Woody, Marks, JSN, Nico, Diggs, Booty, Shaheed. Like the team, makes sense. Yes, Darnold was the obvious pick, and I've been looking closer. And let's see what John did. Allen and Caleb with Walker, Corum, Ty Johnson, and then Devontae Adams, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, DJ Moore, and Jaden Reed. Yes, exactly, John. Get the Niners through, and they drop 40. The problem is there's going to be a lot of that 5-person Niner team, and my only piece on the other side are the Jags. I don't even feel like I have a good Jags, so I don't know if this is my favorite team I've ever been a party to. But everyone, this was a huge amount of fun. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Happy New Year. Have a wonderful New Year. I hope you all are enjoying your day. If you can, drop a like, drop a sub, leave a comment on your way out. I will be back on Monday, and take care. Best of luck with the first round of the playoffs. I'll see y'all soon. Take care.